Lucy, thank you very much for joining us. Just to put things in perspective, you are the pilot recruitment manager at British Airways.
I am, yeah.
Great. So the good news was last week there was an announcement. It was probably a little bit before last week, I think, but an announcement that British Airways is continuing their pilot training scheme. This is the second or third year that's been running now.
So this is the third year that we're running it. And we've got approval again this year to recruit up to 200 people.
That's amazing. I mean, it was not that long ago where there was nobody in the whole world doing this kind of thing, and now just really good. So just to be clear, this is a fully funded scheme. Is that correct?
Yeah, so it's fully funded. So we pay for all their training, accommodation, flights, depending which school they're at. So one of the schools is fully catered, so they get a subsistence allowance. And then for the school that isn't catered, they get a food and a subsistence allowance while they're in training. And we pay for their Class 1 medical, UK Class 1, and then they either need an EASA Class 2 or an FAA Class 3. So we pay for those and any renewals that are needed while they're in training.
Excellent. We're talking about the training. Where are the cadets likely to be doing their training?
So we're working with two fantastic flight schools. So there's FT Jerez, who are based in Jerez in Spain. So if you choose to go there, you're there for 18 months. Because of the weather's great out there, they can fly all year. And it's on campus where you stay as well. And then the other school is Skyborne. So if you choose Skyborne, it's 6 months in the UK. You then go out to a place called Vero Beach for 6 months, and then back to the UK for 6 months. So the 6 months in the States is their fair weather flying to get building their hours.
Okay. And so if that's like roughly 18 months, how long is it from the day they set off, wherever they go, before they're you're hoping they'll be flying passengers on the line and making money for BA?
So they'll. It takes about 2 years. So once they join BA, they've then got to be inducted into BA. They need to do ground school. They need to do a full type rating, and then base training, which is the highlight of most pilots' career. The first solo and then base training is what everybody always says is what they remember. So and then once they've done base training, that's when they start to have passengers on board, and they have 44 training sectors. As well. So once they're flying with passengers on board, it's about 2 years from start to finish, there or thereabouts.
Okay. And in terms of the application, I mean, you've got 200 spaces, you said, and I'm sure there's going to be many, many more applications than 200.
Yes.
What kind of process do they go through once they apply?
So I suppose last year we had 16,000 people complete an application. 8,000 of those were successful through all the testing. So I suppose we're expecting something similar again this year. So once they've applied, when they apply online, they have to answer various different questions and submit what we call a motivational question. Or an answer to that question. And we screen that, and it's a human being in the team that screen that. Then once that's screened, if they're successful and they've passed all the tests, we then move them on to something, it's an audio interview. So they can see themselves while they're doing it, like we can now, but when it comes to our end of the system, we can just hear their voice. And that's what we're asking them to do. We ask them to make a PA to the passengers, giving them information, but it's a bit of a chance for them to show us their personality as well. So we give them the basic information and then they can add to that, obviously keeping it factual. And then we ask them to make a second PA, which is contradicting the first PA, which happens quite often with technical issues and delays. So we're looking that they're thinking about the customer, the brand and the colleagues around them while they're making those PAs, especially nowadays with social media, people like to record and post PAs. So lots of PAs online to listen to and work out what's good and bad. So again, one of the team will sit and listen to that, and if they're successful, they'll then move into the flight school stage. The flight school stage is online testing. It's all done with Aon for both schools. A group exercise, which will be in person at Waterside, and then an online one-to-one interview, which will be done virtually. The assessments that are being held at Waterside have to be done in person. They can't be done virtually. So people need to be able to travel to Waterside. And then we review all of those stages, and then we'll invite the final stage will be coming to, again, back to Waterside. That will be the BA stage. And at the BA stage, there's a couple of different things we do. So there's another group exercise. There is some more testing. What else do we do? There's something called a speedy session. So they go into a room with 8 assessors sat at 8 desks, and each assessor asks the same question to the 8 candidates that go into the room. And then there's a new exercise that we put in this year, which is a competency evaluation exercise, but there's nothing they can do to prepare for that. They just turn up on the day and we'll give them all the information.
I understand, which sounds like a pretty comprehensive set. I mean, if you've got to whittle down your 16,000 or so to 200, then no doubt there's a bunch of filters in there.
Yeah.
I understand that applications close at midnight on the 21st of February.
Yes, that's right.
But obviously the first application step is online. Yeah,
all done online, all via the careers website. At point of application, they can put a preference to which flight school that they'd like to go to. They can also put no preference, but once we start the assessment stages, if they put no preference, we will put them to a school, and at that point, that's then where they're destined to go and train.
Okay, excellent. Well, sounds to me like you're going to be quite busy over the next.
Yeah, all the bases. Yeah, this will take us all the way to mid-July is when the assessment will finish. So the outcomes will go kind of end of July, beginning of August. So it's quite a lengthy process.
Be 200 very happy people at the end of beginning of July, August, won't there?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Lucy, thank you very much for taking the time to talk to us. And good luck to everybody out there.
Yeah, thanks, Ian.